Welcome to today's webinar on data to delivery in an hour. My name is Scott Anderson. I'm a solution engineer with Jaspersoft. I've been working with Jaspersoft for over 10 years. Over time, I've had the joy of showing people how easy it is to implement visualizations, etc., within your applications. Now, Jaspersoft is actually a reporting and a business intelligence solution, a platform that basically enables you, and it's designed to implement and be embedded and integrated inside applications, giving you the ability to design, manage, and deliver reports where you need it, when you need it. It gives you a lot of options that way. Now, the Jaspersoft itself becoming a couple different editions. We have a community edition that's out there available for everybody to use, and it provides Jaspersoft Studio, which is our desktop report designer, and we also have Jasper Reports Library, which is a Java class library, a collection of classes that enable the execution of the reports and the delivery of the reports. We also have a commercial edition. That commercial edition adds in several different additional design tools. We have a web version of our Jaspersoft Studio. We have our ad hoc report designer, and we have a dashboard designer. And then when it comes to delivering the reports, we also have a REST API. We have a actual user interface that you can embed using iframes or deploy as a reporting portal. And you also have Visualize.js, which is our JavaScript API. Now, today we are going to be utilizing our Jaspersoft Studio. We'll be using Ad Hoc Designer, the Dashboard Designer, and Visualize.js, which is our JavaScript API, to implement these reports that we're going to do. So let's go ahead then and let's get started. So let's go ahead and do it. First, we're going to deliver an interactive data experience to our users. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to connect to the data. We will then create a detailed report. We will create a domain or a metadata or semantic layer on top of the data. We will create a KPI or summary view of the data. We will tie those visualizations together in a dashboard, and then we will add the dashboard to a web page. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm actually going to go off camera just so that I can focus. You can focus more on what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and let me pull up my application, and let's start the clock running. So let's hit start. You can see that clock running up here in the top now. So let's go ahead and very quickly, I want to show you what Jasper. This is a little web application I have put together that I want to put the information on, and it's got several pages with different reports, etc., embedded in it. But I want to create this dashboard. I don't have a dashboard in place yet, but this is where I'm going to stick my dashboard. Now, first thing I need to do is I need to connect to my data. So I'm going to come over. First, I'm going to go to Jaspersoft. This is a Jaspersoft Jasper port server, and I'm going to make sure I'm logged in, and I'm going to create a data source. So first thing I need to do is I need to identify what type of data source. There's a variety of data sources available. JDBC, JNDI, Mongo. There's a variety of ways to connect. Using JDBC, there's a number of supported drivers that we work with. Mine happens to be a Postgres database. It's on my local machine. Enter the port. My database name that I want to access is our Food Mart sample database. And you see it created this URL. I'm going to actually take them. I'm going to copy that because I want to use that later. But I'm going to then, I need a user ID and password. Postgres. And let's see the password. Key in the password for that guy. And just come down here and test the connection. There's my connection. So go ahead and save this out there. I'm going to go save this out in my data sources. Let's just call it my demo data source. And so there, I've got my my data sources connected. So there's see, come over here and look down here. My data sources, there's my demo data source. Actually, so that's good. Now, I also need a data source, a data connection in my desktop tool. So I'm going to come over to Jaspersoft Studio, and I am going to create a data adapter. Again, I'm just going to do a JDBC connection. Click Next. Select the type of database. I'm just going to do a Postgres database. I'll come out and get my Postgres driver. I'm just going to paste that connection that URL that I had. And if you've got your URL connection, you can leverage that when you're creating this as well. Just get my ID and password, user ID and password. Test my connection. It's successful, so I'm going to call this my demo data adapter. Okay, finish it. So now I have a connection in my database, both from Studio and from Jaspersoft, Jasperport server. So that next thing I want to do is I want to create a report. I'm going to come over here. I've got a work project that I'm utilizing, but all I need to do is just do new Jasper report, and it starts the process of creating this detailed report. Now, Jaspersoft starts off with a number of templates. This is basically a starting point, if you will. And so, as you can see, a number of templates are provided, and it basically provides kind of a starting formatting, some basic formatting that you want to be utilized in your reports. Jaspersoft provides a number of them, but you can actually create your own as well. So you're not limited to what this is. But I'm just going to use this gray to start this. Let's see, I need to give it a name. Let's call it my expense by account type. My expense by account type report. Click Next. So the next thing is I need to access data. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to grab that demo data adapter I connected. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so we can see what we're doing here a little bit better. But connecting to the database, here's over on the left, I've got a list of the schemas. I can just zoom down and I can actually see the different structures of the database that I want. I can actually just cut and paste a query in here if I want it, or I can design the query. So let's go ahead and come down here and let's do you can use this diagram to design my query. So let's see, I need my expense fact table. Add that to my thing. Let's see, I'll need to count to do this report. I'm going to need store information. Come down here and get some store information. And I also need a little bit of region information. So I've got these different tables listed here. Now I just need to connect the tables together. So I'm going to tie the account ID to my expense information. I'm going to text the store ID, just drag and dropping the appropriate keys, and then tie my region to it. And so basically, now I need to identify what fields I want. So let's see. Let me go with, I'm going to start off, let's go with the sales region. Let's do a store type. Let's go with account description, and then the amount. So basically, I've just designed a query, and I can come back over here to the text tab, and there's this query I've designed. Now, I probably don't want to use these field names in my labels, so I'm going to actually change these names a bit so that they're more English-like and look better. So let's call that region. Call this one store type. Let's go with just description, and this will be amount. Actually, I want to make it a little bit more unique. I want to summarize these amounts. I don't want a detailed report. This is going to be broken down at the account level. So I'm going to modify this to be a sum. And of course, if I want to use a sum, I need to do some order by, group by. So let's go ahead and do a group by, and I can actually navigate here and actually get the columns I want to group by. So I can just drag and drop the region. Let's go with store type. So I need to come down in my store type. My store. It's the store type. And account description. So come back up here to accounts and drop in the description. So that gives me my group by. And so I'm just going to leverage that, do a cut and paste, and turn that into my order by as well. And of course, you can see how great a typist I am. So now I've got the query together. So I'm going to go ahead and click next. So now I can identify which of these fields coming back from the query I want in my report. Let's go ahead and move them all over. I can arrange the order. I can shift them up and down if I want. But basically, I can design it however. This is going to be the list of fields I have, and I'm just going to finish it here. And so here I've created my report using that format, that layout. Now there's some, it's using the basic template. I'm going to come in here and change my report name. I want this to be my expense detail report. And give it a subtitle as well, by store type. We'll call it by store type accounts. And we can shift that over so that we get the full text there. Let's see, these labels, I'll probably want to do a little bit of change. So I'm going to come down here for the properties for these labels. I want to actually come here and I want to center them both horizontally and vertically. And let's see. Then the detail fields, I want to do something similar. So I'm going to come down and select each of those. Again, come down here to the text content, and let's do the centering. This amount field, I want to actually format that amount. Since it is an amount, I can come out here and I can use a currency pattern. So I'll just come out here and click the pattern I want, leave it at 0, round it to 0. I don't have any column footers, so I'm going to actually delete this column footer band. And I could just quickly do a preview, run that report, and there it is. It's running fine. But actually, I want to do one more thing with this. I want to actually zoom in on a specific region. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a parameter. And that parameter is a way that I can pass information in to this particular report. And I'm going to pass in the region. That's what I want to pass in. And the region is a string field. You can use different types of values for this field. Is for prompting means I want to be able to pass the data in. And I'm going to start out with a default. I'm just, for testing purposes, I'm going to use just use this particular, use Northwest, which is one of my regions. I can then come up here and I'm going to go back in and open up that query that I designed earlier. And now I'm going to add a where clause. So let's go ahead and say where, again, I can navigate down to get my region, or I could cut and paste it from here. Let's go ahead and just cut and paste this. Control C and Control V. And I'm going to make that equal to, and if you come down here to this lower panel, I can come over here. Here's my list of parameters. I can just drag that region parameter and drop it right in the query. So now I've got that where clause so that I'm filtering my report as I go. Another thing you can do is after you got your query, before you even actually design the report, you can also preview the data, see what data is coming back. And so it's using that default Northwest to provide the data. Go ahead and save that. And so now now I've got this report that I can run, and it has an input control. So I have designed that detailed report. Now, the next thing I need to do is I need to publish this out to the server. So I'm going to click my publish button, and I'm going to come out here to my server, and this is where I'm working. This is the server I'm working on, our web server. And let's just go down here in my reports. Let's put it in my reports. You can set the name of the report, click next. It pulls in any additional resources that's required. If there's any images on it, it pulls those in. It actually generates an input control for me. Click next. I can then identify, once it gets to the data, to the server, where do I want it to pull the data from. I want to use my demo data source. Go ahead and finish, and click finish. And so now that report has been published out to the server. So let's go ahead and pull up my Jasperport server and come back here over to reports. There's that report we just published. Just click on that. And so now we can run that report. Here we can enter other regions. And you could actually, using the tool, you can actually make more robust input controls. But for this demonstration, I'm just going to generate this report, and then I'm generating that report. So we've designed the report. Next step, let's go ahead and create a domain. Now, the domain is a metadata layer. So I'm going to come over here to my domain folder, and I'm going to add a resource domain. And there's different ways of creating content. You can add resources with the right-click navigation, or you can just do a create up here. Since I want the domain in here, I'm just going to add the domain here. And let's see, the first thing I need is my data, which is my demo data source that I put out there. And again, I see here's my schemas. So I'm going to select the schema. I'm going to use public schema. And then from that public schema, I want the accounts. I want, let's see, my expense fact. I want the store information. Let's see, there's the store information, and I want the region information. Basically the same information that we had earlier. And so let's see, now we need to, once we've got the tables together, the next step is to join those tables together. And so let's start with our expense fact account ID. I'll just drag the account ID over, and then I'm going to take the account ID from, let's see if I can make this a little bit wider here. Drag the account ID over here. And so now I've joined the information based on the account ID. Now I want to do the same thing with the store ID. So I'm going to drop the store ID up there and get the store ID from the store table. There's the store ID, join that. And then of course, from the store, I want to get the region. So let's go down here and get the region. And basically what we're doing here is we're just defining how the different tables interact. So let's see. There's store, let's get the region here. And so now we've got our joins together. After you've got the joins all set up, then you need to control how you want the data to be presented. And so I want some expense information. So I'm going to just pull my expense fact table over, and it pulls everything in. And you can rename things. So let's change this to be expense. Now, I really don't want to mess with a lot of these ID vet fields, so I'm going to just delete those. Let's see, expense date be useful, the store ID, time ID, probably don't need those. And so that gives my expense information. And then I can also, maybe I want to create another set. Let's call this my, I'm going to call this my store set. And then I'm going to come down here, and from the store, I'm going to pull some fields. Let's say, well, I want to do store type. That's probably a good one to have. Let's go grab store type. There it is. Drag the store type over under the store. Actually, let me get it. Now I've got a store type under the store. I've got, maybe I want to see the different square footage. grocery square foot. Let's see. Let's see. There was the. Looking. Oh, there's the store square footage. Let's do that too. And of course, store name would be useful. Let's grab the store name. Come on. Looks like I missed the store square footage when it didn't drop right. So I got the store name, store type. I can move things up and down to arrange it so that it's how organized how I want it. Let's see, what else do I want? Let's grab some of the demographic stuff. So from our region table, let's grab let's grab the region name, and let's grab the country name. And you can make this as robust as you want. You come out here and change all the labels. Let's change that to amount. This is making it easier for your end user to navigate the data. It makes it so they don't have to look at the details. So the detail structure. So you can name these however you want. And let's see. And it looked like I didn't quite get the country in there, so let's put the country in there. Drop that down here. So that looks pretty good. It looks like a good starting point for our demo. Now, some additional things you can do with domains that I'm not going to approach this time, but it's useful. Basically, you can control security. The security can control what rows and columns users can see based on aspects of the user, and then we also have tools to facilitate localization or multi-language labels. So these columns, instead of getting the label keyed in, you can actually have a key referring to a locale bundle, a resource file. You can also control how rows are supposed to be used, what kind of aggregation you want to do, how the data is to be formatted, so that you can do quite extensive formatting, etc. So we've got so that's our domain. Now we need to just save this domain out there. Let's call it our expense, our demo expense domain. How about that? Of course, call it that. So that's out there, and so now I can come back and look at our repository, and we have in our domain, we have our domains defined. Okay, so now the next piece. Let's create a visualization, kind of a summary visualization. So I am going to create an ad hoc view. This allows me to take data from that demo domain we just created, that demo expense domain, and create a visualization from it. So I'm going to go out and select this domain. And it's being a little slow today for some reason. So I'm going to basically select all my expense data, and I'm going to come up here, and now I have that. You see over here on the left, I've got that structure that I defined earlier, with the different aspects, different fields that I've from that presentation layer I did. So let's go ahead now and let's make a report. So I'm going to start out. Let's use the region. I'm going to add region to my columns. Add square footage to the store square foot to my columns. Probably want to report on amounts. We want to point it. Maybe you want to create a calculated field. Let's create a calculated field. I want to see a percentage instead of having just a grocery square foot. I want to do a percentage of grocery square footage. So let's go give it a name, percent grocery. Again, it looks like I got my cap locks on. Sorry about that. And let's take grocery square foot, divide it by store square foot, and we'll make it an average calculation. Create the field. Now we've got this percent grocery that we can add to our chart as well. Well, let's change the visualization. Rather than from a crosstab, let's use, we can do crosstabs or tabular reports, but let's do something fancy. Let's go ahead and, I don't know, let's create a bubble chart. And so the nice thing about this, you pick your visualization, the tool tells you what you need to create that visualization. We need 0 or more fields in columns and rows. We've got a region field there. And you need to have 3 measures in the columns. So we've got the 3 measures. So let's apply that to our visualization. And let's add store type as a row. And so that we've got that. Over here, you can see over here in the filter section, we've got the ability to zoom in and zoom out. So we can say what level of detail we want. So now we've got a nice bubble chart showing the cells broken down by the cells amount based on, and we can change the order to make it look a little bit different depending on how we want that information represented. You get your mouse over. You also have the ability to turn on drill down, so allowing you to drill down to different levels in the report. Over on the right, you also have the ability to do formatting. You can also do filters. So for example, maybe I want to filter this by country. So I'm going to drag country over into the filter. I'm going to make sure that, and so that gives me the ability to, and I can make that the country be a drop-down list that does a single select. I can do multi-select. I can do other types of comparisons. And I can also add store type. Maybe I want to do store type to be as one of them. And so I've got 2 filters there. Now so I can filter it down. I can apply that, and it zooms in on that subset of data. So that what these filters does, this makes it available for me to zoom in on the subreports and do different things with the subreports. So let's go ahead and save this out there. I'm going to save this out there in my repository. Stick it in my ad hoc view components. Call this my expense by region store type. And you can also, from this ad hoc view, you can also publish a report. So I could actually make a physical report out of this, and what that allows me to do, it allows me to apply templates to it, which allows me to put formatting on it, headers, footers, etc. So go ahead and save that out there. And so now this ad hoc view is out there available for me to utilize as well. So we've got the detail report, we've got this ad hoc view, and we've got some other reports that I've created, another report I've created previously. So let's go ahead and create a dashboard now. So let's come up here and create dashboard. I want to, over on the left, I've got a list of all of the content I've got out there. And so I can actually add any report or ad hoc view or visualization I have out there, I can use in my dashboard, and I can also add additional content. So let's start out with, I'm going to create a text field for kind of a header. I'm going to call it my expenses, but I'm going to actually, this $P allows me to put a parameter on a text area. And you can also put parameters on URLs, on images, on that type of thing. But what this allows, and you'll see how this works out. So I've got this expenses, this text area. I just want it up at the top. Let's go ahead and do some formatting of this. Let's get this up to something that's a little bit easier to see. You can actually type it in if you wanted. Let's make it bold. Let's center it. Center it both ways so that it's nice. And so now this is basically the heading or the title of our dashboard. Now let's add some reports. First off, you can actually do list view, which is just a list of the visualizations you have. You can do the folder, so I can navigate down to specifically what I want to see. And you can also do searches. But I'm going to add that studio report, add it to my report, my dashboard. So there's the expense detail. Now I can control this, how this behaves. I can change the name of it, this title up here. I can change the title of it. I can set it up so that it auto refreshes on a regular scheduled basis, and that auto refresh can be done at the individual report level or the overall dashboard level. You can also turn on a variety of buttons, so I can have a button on this to manually refresh it. I can maximize it, which allows me to zoom in, and I can also put an export button on this particular report. And that export you can set up at individual dashboard component level or the overall dashboard level as well. Now let's add some more content. So there's that expense by want to add that ad hoc view I've got, and let's add some shared content. I've got some shared content down here. I'm going to grab one of let's see, down here my ad hoc view. I've got a, let's see, I want to grab, let's see what I want. Let's by account store type. Use this one. So I'm going to put this one below it. Actually, so I'm actually going to, I got these little undo buttons here that you can back up. I'm going to actually put it above it. So there, I've got some content here, and it's all tied together. Now, what I want to do is I want to add some filters. Now, down here you see that each of these reports, as I've added the content, it lists the filters that they have. They all have country as a filter. Now, I could drag and drop a country filter, one of the filters up here, and have that country's filter created for me and on the dashboard itself. But I actually want the filter coming from my application. So I'm going to come out here and I'm going to create a new country filter. Okay, and then that country filter, I am going to send whatever I select from the country to the different reports that need a country. So that way the application itself is going to pass information into the country for those two reports. And I can also tie that country to this parameter up here. So now I've tied all the content together, but you know, I want one more visualization for this. So I can actually come out here and on the fly, I can create new content. I can actually drag a chart over here and it pulls up the ad hoc designer where I can then go out here and create my that new chart. So let's see, what do I want to do here? What kind of a chart do I want to create? First off, let's go grab a visualization we want. Maybe the do level pie. And it says, okay, this is what you need to create a do level pie. So I'm going to stick region and store type in the rows. And I'm going to stick, of course, the amount in the columns. I'm going to add the country filter and make it as one of just like the others are. I don't need a legend for this simple of a chart, so I'm going to get rid of that and save the space, visual space. And I mean, you can add additional properties if you so like. I mean, you can change color schemes, you can change add HTML properties high chart properties to further refine your chart. But I'm just going to save this now out to my dashboard. Call it my let's see, let's call it my expense by region. Okay, so now I've got all these different charts. Now, one other thing I want to show you is this new chart. I want this one to drive what's in this expense detail report. So I'm going to come over here, and if I look at the dashlet settings, one of the things I can turn on is this enable hyperlinks. This allows me to, when I click on this chart, send parameters to other things on this dashboard. I can have it navigate off the dashboard. I can open a new page, replace the existing page or dashlet with content. It's going to update the page, and I have access to all of the dimensions and measures on this, so I can now take that parameter mapping dialog, and I'm going to take that region. I'm going to pass the region. To recall, I had that in my detail report. Let's see. My detail report, I have a region value, so I can send that region over to that. And so basically, it's all tied together now. I can now I can switch over and do a quick preview and see what it looks like. It looks real nice. I've got the zoom in and zoom out capability. I've got there's the export button and the refresh button on the detail like I wanted it. So it looks pretty nice. So now I'm going to save this dashboard out into the repository, call it my demo dashboard, and I'm going to stick it down here in my demo folder. Let's see, there's my demo dashboard folder. There's my dashboards. I add a description of it. So basically, I've tied everything together, and I've saved it out into the repository. So I've got this dashboard now. Now I want to embed it. Well, basically, if I want to embed this dashboard, this little button right here gives me the code I need to embed it. Click on that, and it looks like I basically need to have a location of where the server is. I need a container to stick it in. I need some security to identify who's running the report. And then I've got a dashboard. And this dashboard, here's the location of this particular dashboard. So I'm going to copy this location for now. And here is the source for that embedded HTML page we looked at earlier. Again, I need to have the script, and I could just cut and paste that line in. I need to have a container. This is basically the structure of my page, but I need to have a container where I can put it in. And then I've got a collection of JavaScript here that helps me with the different aspects of it. I'm going to log in with the same user, Jasper admin, to my embedded BI organization. And this also sets up a number of input controls. And the input controls, that's basically it's outside of in this scenario, it's outside of Jaspersoft, although Jaspersoft does have JavaScript that facilitates that. And so I'm going to now come in here, and I'm just going to paste that path in here. Looks like I did some typing mistakes on this, but I'm going to save this, make sure that all my content is saved. I'm going to come back over here to my web application. Here's that page. I'm going to reload it. And voila. Come on. There's that dashboard embedded. I can come over here and I can select a page here. I can zoom in and zoom out. I've got, if I click on here, it updates my expense detail, and I can export the detail to a PDF. There's the PDF. That's quite a lot. We've basically done quite a lot. Now, that's not too bad. I think we did it under an hour. So let's go back over here. What was our time? Let's 37 minutes and 17 seconds. Now, some things that we did not do, the additional things that we may want to do, we may want to integrate security. Remember, I told you how you can integrate the security from the logged in user, and have that impact domains, impact the reports, the information displayed. That's available in Jaspersoft. You can have multi-tenancy, have a single server, and have that all available within Jaspersoft. Jaspersoft is highly scalable, so there's scalable options that you can do when you're setting it up. And I also mentioned how input controls can be integrated inside your application. Now, so where do you go from here? Well, Jaspersoft, we have a trial of our commercial edition. You can download it free for 30 days. That includes all the tools we showed you, Jasper Server and Jaspersoft Studio, as well as our Web Studio and Jasperports IO tools. It also has, using the commercial edition, you get professional technical support and product warranties. So there's a lot of value add within that commercial edition. I really enjoy sharing this kind of thing with you. I mean, Jaspersoft has amazing possibilities when it comes to implementing reports and dashboards in your application. And please let us know what you think. Give us some feedback. Reach out to our contact us in jaspersoft.com. Appreciate your time and have a wonderful day.